War has rules, or at least, that's what superpowers like to believe. But history has proven one thing over and over again: the smaller force, the underestimated force, the one that refuses to fight by the enemy's rules. That's the force that can change everything. The Vietnam War was supposed to be an easy win for the United States. A nation with unmatched firepower, cutting-edge technology, and overwhelming numbers was up against an enemy that had none of that. No air force, no advanced tanks, no satellite surveillance. And yet, they won. How? Through two of the most effective and terrifying forms of warfare: guerrilla tactics and tunnel warfare. The jungle became a weapon. Viet Cong didn't fight like a traditional army. They couldn't. If they had, they would have been crushed in open combat. Instead, they turned their lack of resources into their biggest strength. They didn't fight the US head-on. They made the US fight them on their terms. They moved in small, highly mobile units, striking at night, ambushing convoys, cutting off supply lines, and vanishing before American forces could react. They planted traps everywhere: punji pits filled with poison spikes, tripwire explosives that could tear off a soldier's leg, hidden snipers that took out targets before disappearing back into the jungle. And no matter how much the US bombed, burned, and blasted the terrain, they never wiped out the enemy, because the enemy wasn't just in the jungle. They were beneath it. Tunnel warfare, the hidden battlefield. Viet Cong built an underground world beneath the feet of US troops. A vast network of tunnels stretched for hundreds of kilometers. Some were simple escape routes, but others were entire underground military bases, command centers where Viet Cong leaders planned attacks, weapons caches hidden deep underground, field hospitals where injured fighters could recover, even living quarters where fighters could stay for weeks at a time. For US forces, these tunnels were a nightmare. Bombing the tunnels didn't work. They were too deep, too well built, and constantly repaired. Flooding them wasn't an option either. Many had hidden drainage systems. That's when the US resorted to sending in tunnel rats, small, elite soldiers who crawled into the darkness with nothing but a flashlight, a pistol, and a knife. Imagine being in complete darkness, knowing that at any moment you could be ambushed by an enemy who knew every inch of the tunnels better than you. Many never came back, and despite everything, the bombings, the tunnel rats, the overwhelming firepower of the tunnels, remained a strategic advantage that the US could never overcome. And in the end, America lost the war, not because they lacked weapons, not because they lacked soldiers, but because they were fighting a war they didn't understand.
Fast forward to today. History repeats itself. Now let's jump ahead to 2023 to 2024. Different war, different players, same tactics. This time, it's Gaza. Israel has one of the most advanced militaries in the world. F-35 jets, precision-guided missiles, state-of-the-art drones. But just like the US in Vietnam, Israel has faced an enemy that refuses to fight by conventional rules. Guerrilla fighters using tunnel warfare have turned Gaza into their battlefield. Just like the Viet Cong, these fighters don't stand in open battle. They disappear, regroup, and strike where you least expect it. They launch rockets, use hit-and-run tactics, and most importantly, they use tunnels to eliminate Israel's air superiority. These tunnels aren't just for moving fighters from place to place. They are full-blown military bases underground. Weapons depots, training camps, hidden command centers, even tunnels that lead deep into Israeli territory. And Israel, despite its massive firepower, faces the same dilemma the US faced in Vietnam. How do you fight an enemy that you can't find? Why tunnels work against superpowers? The reason tunnel warfare is so effective is simple. 1. It neutralizes air superiority. You can't bomb what you can't see. Airstrikes can destroy buildings, but underground networks stay hidden. 2. It gives the smaller force an advantage. They control the battlefield, choosing when and where to engage. 3. It wears down the stronger force. Superpowers rely on quick, decisive victories. But when the war drags on, morale collapses. Just like in Vietnam, just like in Gaza. And this raises a bigger question: could a superpower lose again? The US lost in Vietnam. The Soviet Union lost in Afghanistan. And now, Israel is facing the same challenge in Gaza. So here's the real question: could another modern superpower lose the same way today? If history has shown us anything, it's that no matter how advanced your military is, no matter how powerful your weapons are, a well-trained guerrilla force using the right strategy can change the course of history. What do you think? Is tunnel warfare still the ultimate weapon against superpowers? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive.